Hey GF, Pastor Alex here. Thanks for joining us for another video. Today we are talking about how to reflect the right way. Have you guys ever looked at life through rose-colored glasses? You remember the best of times, or maybe you're the opposite and you remember the worst of times. In fact, when someone reminds you of a story, you tend to have all of the key points of what went wrong and forgot all the good things that happened in the middle. It's easy for our focus to be drawn to things that are negative. It's difficult for our focus to be drawn to things that are positive. During this season of Lent, you have had a difficult challenge to deny yourself of something. And this challenge for some of us might have been a little easier than for others. For me, for example, I hate denying myself of something that I like. If it's something I want, I'm probably gonna make it happen. Not for everything, but if I want a coffee, I'm gonna make myself a coffee. If I'm feeling some chicken nuggets, probably gonna get chicken nuggets. These are restraints that I do not have in place. And I know that when I put restraints in place, it's challenging and it's not easy. And you have an opportunity in this season to look back on Lent and remember it for the times you were hungry, or remember it for the times God was faithful. And here's what I want to challenge you with. As you look back on this season, remember the times that God was faithful. I talked earlier this season about generosity and how in my own life, I've remembered the gifts I've given far more than I've remembered the gifts I've received. And I believe this to be true, that God has given you a ton of good things in this season. In those moments when you were hungry for something you couldn't have, God reminded you that He was all that you needed. In those moments when you gave something, maybe it was time, finances, whatever it was, when you were generous, God was generous back to you with so much more than you ever gave. And maybe it was just joy. He filled your life up with so much joy. Joy that you would have never had if you held on to the thing that God allowed you to be able to release to someone else. And this is what I want to challenge you with. Let this be a season marked by God's goodness. And when you allow that to happen, what's going to happen is when you look back on Lent, it's not going to be the season of lack or want or need. It's going to be a season of remembering God's faithfulness. And when we remember God's faithfulness in every season and every circumstance, it shifts our perspective to what it wasn't to what it was. And what I believe this is and can be for you is a life-changing season, a season that isn't just about creating habits for the short term, but about life change for the long term. God's going to use this moment and this time to build up your faith, to strengthen you. When you go missing something, you're going to remember, hey, I've denied myself things in the past. I haven't had other things, and God's been faithful just like He was in that last season. Not, man, I'm hungry. I remember when I was hungry for 40 days? That's not what's gonna happen. Maybe for some of you, but I encourage you to shift your focus to God's blessing. As you look back, as you think about this season, remember God's faithfulness and watch how it shifts your posture for the future. We love you, church, and we'll see you soon.